Welcome back to AFTV. I'm here with my boy Marty. How you doing, bro?
Nice, mate.
Nice win. Nice, comfortable win today in the FA Cup. Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 4.
Yeah, do you know what? Look, I thought it was a fantastic game of football. A great game of football to enjoy on a Sunday afternoon. Portsmouth got going quickly. They caught us cold with a decent goal. You know, Kepa, for me, has to do better with that. Puts the ball into a dangerous area. And then their number 9, their captain, comes and sticks it in the back of the net. And Fratton Park's rocking. Fair play to him. And it set the tone of the pace for the game. Then 6 minutes later, we equalise. Set piece. And this is, not only are we doing set pieces now, we're doing set pieces and own goals. Like, we are truly set piece, own goal FC, call it what you want, but now we're combining the two. And listen, it's great. We get it, that levelled up at 1-1 and you're in for a game of football.
Tell the truth though, when that went in after 2 minutes, were you thinking, this could be one of those long days, or was you confident that we would get straight back in it?
Yeah, look, you've seen it. Ultimately, Arsenal are going to be too strong for a side that are fourth from bottom in the Championship. And if we're not, there's some serious problems with the players that we're putting on the pitch. You need to be putting these, whether it's home or away, you need to be, no disrespect to Portsmouth, they're fighting for their lives in the Championship. You need to be putting these teams away with the quality of assets that we have at Arsenal Football Club. I knew we were in for a game of football. I knew it was going to be an open game of football. I knew that Portsmouth weren't just going to sit back and get us to try and break them down. They came at us in that first half and they had a go, and I love seeing that. And there were, it was a good game of football. As a neutral fan of football, watching FA Cup football, this is a great advert, I believe, for it.
You reckon? I think most neutrals wanted Arsenal to lose.
Yeah, listen, of course, no. But what I'm saying, as a neutral or as someone that watches football, it was a good game of football to watch on a Sunday afternoon. I enjoyed watching that, as opposed to Thursday night. I was there and I didn't enjoy watching that. It wasn't a good game of football. This was it had it all, especially with them going 1-0 up. Not that I wanted them to go 1-0 up, but then obviously we levelled it. Martinelli to get a hat-trick as well. I thought that, it's unfortunate that
this heading prowess of Martinelli's, we've not seen that before, have we?
We haven't scored 2 goals by headers today, yeah? And then that other one from open play where Jesus puts an absolutely phenomenal ball across the box, and Martinelli's at the back post, and you've got to think that games like this where Portsmouth aren't that rigid at the back and structurally they're not that solid, a game like this suits Martinelli because he's quite a chaotic player and he likes to get in behind, and obviously he arrives at the back post and he slots it away. We nearly saw him in the first half as well. There was a similar chance that he puts against the post, and their keeper got it. And at that point the game could have got. I mean, this game we could have. The score could have been 5 or 6. 4-1's a decent, convincing win. That's kind of what you'd expect.
I was going to say to you, Martinelli was one of a number of changes today. 10 changes the manager made. Of those 10 changes, obviously Martinelli stood out. Who else for you today stood out?
Well, just quickly on Martinelli, one thing I'd like to say, he's come under a lot of criticism. There's, people saying all sorts of things about him after what happened on Thursday night against Liverpool. And he's shown great mental resilience to stand up, bang a hat-trick away, and be one of those, say, changes and perform like that. Listen, Eze...
Well, just to help you out, I've got the changes here, the 10 that came in. So we had Kepa in goal, Ben White came in, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Norgard, Mourinho, who was captain, Jesus, Eze, Madueke, Wanyeri, and of course Martinelli. Yeah, now, we've spoken about Martinelli. Which of those other guys stood out for you today?
I thought Ben White played well. I thought Ben White... there was some last-ditch defending, some good overlapping. There was times where he caught Portsmouth cold. They were trying to play the ball out, and his pressing and his intensity was great. Ben White's a phenomenal player. Just unfortunately for him, he's had Jurriën Timber. He's been injured, and he's got Jurriën Timber in front of him. Listen, at times Ethan did impress. At times, dead ball delivery. Eze did impress. For me, who really impressed when they came on was Kai Havertz. It's great to see Kai Havertz back on a football pitch. He's had a long injury layoff, and when he come on, there was a beautiful ball he threads through to Madueke, literally just after he comes on, and you'd like to see Madueke do better. It was a great bit of defending from Portsmouth, but you'd like to see Madueke do better with that, essentially, maybe hit it a bit earlier. But it's some of his link-up play, some of his footwork. He's a big guy, he's a big physical presence, and you can kind of see what you're going to get from him. And
is that a little subliminal dig at Victor?
No, not at all. Listen, I'm still in support of Victor Gyökeres. There's a lot of football to play. I believe he'll come good. Obviously, against Liverpool, he was terrible. We know we don't need to keep going over that. Look, he's a professional football player. I'm sure he'll pick himself up. He's going to get other opportunities. And listen, football's a funny game that all it takes is Gyökeres to go and bang a couple of goals in, against maybe a Chelsea on Wednesday night or Forest on Saturday, and things, there's a different.
Do you think though he could be out for a while though? Because do you think he'll play on Wednesday, for example?
Yeah, I do.
Do you think he'll play against Forest?
I do, because look, Jesus isn't up to 90 minutes, game after game, and obviously Havertz isn't. We know there's been breakdowns in his coming back. So to play, think either of those players are going to play 90 minutes. I think out of the three, Gyökeres is the fittest, and he does need some game time. He's going to get his opportunities. It's down to him whether he takes them. And, he has done other stuff. But listen, I know everyone's sort of going early and there's all this he should go and all that. I'm not buying into that. What it is, we've got three great options. We've got three different profiles of striker. Jesus is a silky smooth player that can turn on the ball and think in beautiful little passes and what have you. And Havertz and Gyökeres is more of a battering ram. You need to thread the ball for him to finish. And Havertz is somewhere in the middle of that. So listen, the key thing is for them all staying fit and having those options off the bench. And that's how I see that.
I think. Yeah, if you're looking at it logically, though, Jesus, who was on today, he didn't score.
Yeah.
I never really had a clean chance of scoring, did he, that I can remember?
Not really.
Havertz had a couple of half opportunities towards the end. So basically what we're saying is the strikers still didn't score today. We scored 4 goals. None of the strikers have scored.
There you go. And listen, that's what you need. Martinelli pops up with a hat-trick. And
is that what you need, though? You need your strikers to be scoring goals, right?
Well, yeah, you need everyone to be scoring goals. Listen, you need to be winning games. I don't care how we win. There are people who say, we scored 3 set pieces today. Yeah. There's only 1 goal from open play. And they'll say, against Portsmouth quite clearly couldn't handle us at corners. And not a lot of teams can. And when you come up against lower level opposition, you realise how important our corners are and how much pressure it puts on other teams.
Everything you said is right. I'm relating it back to the criticisms of Gyökeres. What I'm saying today, Gyökeres was nowhere to be seen. Fine. But the guys that replaced him, they didn't score either. Now, I know it's only 1 game, but does that sort of contribute to the argument that we're still not playing to a striker's best strength or what?
Yeah, I know, but then, in games, it's not just your striker that's going to score goals. Sometimes your midfielders score. I mean, Declan Rice scored 2 goals against Bournemouth and won us the game. Like I say, as long as we're winning games and getting results, do I care where the goals come from? No. Do I really care if we're winning it with a boring 1-0? Not really. It's about getting results. Obviously, I love to see exciting football. I'd love to see Gyökeres score 30 goals in a season. I'd love to see that. But if we win the title and Gyökeres only scores 6 goals, I couldn't really care less. And that's it. What we need to do is get competitions, i.e. the Premier League, Champions League, an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup would be nice as well. We need to get this over the line this season. And what we're showing in games like this, don't forget this time last year we were playing a Manchester United side, which weren't the best side. And it was 1-1, it went to penalties. Havertz missed a hatful of chances. He literally, and he got absolutely lambasted and slandered. That was this time last year. And everyone was, his family were getting death threats and stuff like that, which is ridiculous. Now, roll on a year and people are so grateful to see him back. Football changes quickly. And that is the thing. And who would have thought that a year ago?